Well, let's go to Brussels and correspondent Dave Keating. Dave, let's begin by taking a listen to the Russian president who spoke in the company of his Belarus counterpart earlier.
Finland, Sweden, an expansion to these countries does not pose a direct threat to Russia. But the expansion of military infrastructure to these territories will certainly provoke a response.
It sounds a bit like a threat, doesn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it certainly does. But the question is, how much capacity does Russia have to make such a threat? I mean, there are already Russian nuclear missiles that are pretty short in the Baltic, in Kaliningrad, and that was the previous threat that Russia had made, that Finland and Sweden joining NATO would force them to move nuclear weapons into Kaliningrad, that Russian exclave on the Baltic Sea in between Lithuania and Poland, sitting within the European Union. However, intelligence agencies say that Russia has already had nuclear weapons there for a very long time. So the threat to a lot of people seems very hollow, and still analysts say that any kind of military response to Finland and Sweden remains very, very unlikely. They may have a buildup of troops, a buildup of missiles in the region, but I think that's something that people were expecting anyway.
Something that people were expecting, Dave, and we're been showing those images there that have been handed out by the U.S. Defense Department of live fire exercises taking place in northern Norway. What's the mood where you are at NATO headquarters?
Well, I'm actually at a meeting of EU foreign ministers where the Swedish and Finnish foreign ministers were at today, actually, because, of course, they are both EU members. And their absence from NATO has actually been a bit of a difficulty as the EU is trying to build its defense capacity, which is supposed to be under the same NATO umbrella. And so those 6 EU members that are not in NATO has caused some problems, some difficulties, some awkwardness. So certainly ministers here were really welcoming this move and were congratulating the Finnish and Swedish foreign ministers who are here because it will make that EU defense capacity a lot easier to have these 2 members now in NATO, and it's expected to happen very quickly. Of course, that leaves 4 neutral EU countries still not in NATO. That's Ireland, Austria, Cyprus, and Malta. And I think pressure will be on them to follow suit, although we are not seeing the same kind of swing in public approval there that we've seen in Finland and Sweden over the past 2 months.
Dave Keating reporting live from Brussels. Many thanks for that update.